Sonic Forces, the game whose name instantly created memes upon reveal, and the game that utterly terrified the general gaming community when they learned that you can now create your own custom Sonic the Hedgehog character.
Do you realize what you've done?
All jokes aside, let's talk about the roller coaster ride we had up to this game's release. And my god, was it a roller coaster ride! On July 22nd, 2016, during the dumpster fire that was the Sonic 25th anniversary party,
Sonic Heroes! Watch right here.
During that party, Sonic Mania was announced. After that announcement, people were so hyped to see classic Sonic return in his own game, but we all knew in the back of our minds that this was not the real Sonic 25th anniversary game, as Sonic Team's logo was nowhere seen in the trailer. They ended up hyping the announcement of their game for the next 2 hours until the very end of the stream, when finally, it was time. But before they showed us the trailer, Takashi Iizuka was so content on reassuring us that this next project was a completely new title. In the back of my mind, I didn't really understand why he felt the need to do that. Until they showed us the trailer, of course. The beginning of the trailer was amazing. It starts out by saying, from the team that brought you Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations. After that reassuring message, you see a dark sight that looks like Sonic's world completely destroyed and taken over by Eggman. Next, you see modern Sonic, looking absolutely pissed as he races to confront the Death Egg robots. As Sonic is running, he is saved by none other than... Classic Sonic? But why? Is this Sonic Generations 2? Why is he appearing in this new modern Sonic game? We just got an announcement that he's getting his own game. Needless to say, I felt so unsure about him reappearing. Hell, you could even tell by the tone of my voice and my facial expression during my trailer reaction that I just felt uneasy about it. This is how Sonic Team expected us to react. And this is how I reacted. He's back? Does this look like the face of someone who is excited? The second I saw Classic Sonic, I felt like they just did this to tug at our nostalgia strings, but it just felt more like a turnoff more than anything. Anyways, my point is, this concern stayed with me all the way until the release of the game, especially after seeing that they were reusing Green Hill Zone and Chemical Plant Zone, both zones that were already in Sonic Mania and Sonic Generations. But as time went on, more information was slowly coming out about Sonic Forces, like it returning to the boost formula from Sonic Generations, being able to create your own custom hero, and again, playing classic Sonic in 2D. For the most part, I thought the game looked incredible. The setting was dark toned, which I personally like, kind of like the Sad AM series. The levels looked beautiful with bright colors and crisp graphics. The gameplay style was the boost formula, which I was okay with, especially since it was made by the same people from the past games. In my mind, there was no way Sonic Team could mess this title up. It's supposedly been in development for 4 years, and they said the team behind it made some of the best games in the series. So, the game is out, and the question that everyone is wondering is, how does the game hold up? Well, I'll tell you up front, right here, right now. Sonic Forces isn't a bad game. I found the game quite enjoyable in my first playthrough. Is it an absolute masterpiece? Hell no. Also, I want you guys to notice that I said on my first playthrough, because after playing the game many times over since its release, what I first thought was good, then turned into average, then what I first thought was average, then turned into eh. Now, I know a lot of people are about to call me all sorts of names in the comments, but before you do, I want you to look at my channel videos. Literally 95% of my videos are all about Sonic the Hedgehog and the hype leading up to Forces and Mania. Hell, that's literally what this channel is built on. And to anyone that tries to call me a Sonic hater, bitch please. Bitch please. Bitch please. Bitch please. Wait, what? So please, don't sit there and try to tell me that I'm blindly hating. I love the Sonic series, and I am making this review because I love the Sonic series, and I want to see it strive to become something greater. Now, enough dilly-dally. Let's start with the story, shall we? To get the full scoop of everything that's going on, let's start with episode Shadow, which takes place about a month before Eggman took over the world. Rouge tells Shadow that she got a report from the Intelligence Division that they've located an unknown base of operations that seems outside the base of command for Eggman's army. Now, I'm going to stop the story right there. Who is this intelligence division? It can't be the Resistance because they weren't a thing yet. So, is it Gun? Is that still a thing? Whatever. So Shadow goes to meet up with Omega to confront this unknown base of operations. Quick note, by the way, Shadow is going through Park Avenue before Eggman took over the world. So why does it look all destroyed? Just like when Sonic goes through the level months after Eggman's attack. And I know you can make the argument that this is enemy territory, but why later in the story does Amy say,
Eggman's army has broken through! They're in the city! We need to get these people out of here!
As if it was a sprawling, untouched city with civilians. Anyways, as Shadow was en route to Omega, something mysterious starts to happen to him, and eventually they lose all contact with Omega.
Omega, what happened? What's going on over there?
Unidentified system intrusion. Emergency withdrawal. IME 123 Omega, the most powerful.
Shadow arrives too late to find Omega unresponsive and Infinite, this game's antagonist, gloating about defeating Omega. Through Infinite's spiel, he starts to imply to Shadow that they've met before. Shadow, of course, has no idea what the hell he's talking about, and now here comes the part where we rewind back another couple of months before these events, which were already back another couple of months before Eggman took over the world. Ugh, God, this story, it's already jumping all over the place. Anyways, about a month ago, Shadow infiltrated Eggman's facility in Mystic Jungle, where he completely wiped out Squad Jackal, a squad that was working for Eggman at the time. The captain of the squad was ordered to confront Shadow. Unsurprisingly, he gets his ass utterly handed to him by Shadow, leaving him having a mental breakdown.
Worthless. Don't show your pathetic face around me ever again. I'm shaking. Me. Afraid. Pathetic. Me. He's calling me weak. No, I am not weak. I'm not. I'm not weak. I am not weak.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
So long story short, that's how Infinite came to be. And honestly, that's just pathetic. Anyways, so fast forward back to when Shadow first confronted Infinite. He shows Shadow that he could do virtual reality projections that can hurt people in reality using the Phantom Ruby. So fast forward back to the main story. It kicks off when Eggman launches a full assault on Green Hill Zone. Tails calls Sonic for help, saying that Eggman's forces are surging into the city. Sonic arrives to save the day, but before he can make his next move, he's ambushed by familiar faces like Shadow, Zavok, Metal Sonic, and Chaos. But that's not all, we also have our new villain, Infinite. With no trouble at all, Sonic gets his ass completely handed to him as Tails decides not to jump in and help, as he was busy playing Super Mario Odyssey on his Nintendo Switch in the background. Fast forward 6 months later, everyone thinks Sonic is dead, and Eggman has completely taken over the world, with exception to a resistance started by some of Sonic's friends like Team Chaotix, Silver, Amy, and Knuckles, who is supposedly the leader of the group. I'm sorry, I normally wouldn't mind Knuckles being the leader of the group and all, but after the Sonic Boom series playing Knuckles out as some idiot, it just pains me to try to take him seriously now. According to Sonic's friends, they believe Sonic is dead, and Tails has apparently just lost it? God, that's really dark if you think about it. Anyways, they decided they don't want to sit around waiting for a miracle, and that it's time for them to create their own miracle. This is where your custom character comes in, as he is a new recruit for the Resistance. After making your custom character, you are introduced to Stage 2, when suddenly...
I've just received some incredible news! Sonic is alive!
Really? You guys couldn't let that play out a little longer to get a sense of hopelessness in this world? Jesus Christ. Anyways, after that incredible news...
He's captured in the orbiting prison. My spy there says he's in a solitary confinement cell, and they've been torturing him for months. Am I playing a Sonic the Hedgehog game? Torture? Torture! My God! After that surreal moment, your custom character is off to go get a shuttle so he could save Sonic from the orbiting prison. During this time, wait a minute! Tails looks just fine! Being himself as a mechanic trying to fix Omega and all. Ugh, whatever. Tails is about to be attacked by chaos since he's become nothing more than a scared 2-year-old and doesn't decide to, I don't know, fly away. He is suddenly saved by Classic Sonic in the nick of time who just came out of a better game. Mania. Also, I should point out that Classic Sonic is no longer just a younger version of Sonic, but a Sonic from another dimension. Okay. Is it too late to go back? Soon, the Resistance group learns that Eggman has been, quote, and I quote from a real Sonic the Hedgehog game, has been torturing Sonic just to pass the time and kept him alive just so he could see his completed empire before banishing him into space. This isn't fanfiction. This is real. Someone at Sega actually wrote this. Look, I like dark tone stories, but this is just a bit much. I think the Sad AM series did a darker tone perfectly by roboticizing people, not torturing them. Anyway, so we learned that Eggman rebuilt the Death Egg. Wow, that was quick. And that's where they're keeping Sonic held captive.
The Death Egg? Oh man, that's not good.
None of this is good, Vector. That's why it's called war.
You serious?
Alright, so we infiltrate the Death Egg to save Sonic from captivity, and when we see him, he looks just fine and dandy, like a kid patiently sitting on a bench waiting for his mother to come pick him up after school. Why does the game keep making comments like, Tails just lost it, and Sonic being tortured, when they show zero evidence of any of this happening? They made it sound like we're going to find Sonic all banged up and in distress, but when we see him, he looks perfectly fine and cracking jokes. Did the writers just not care? So Sonic escapes with your OC, you guys destroy the weapons factory that belonged to Eggman, and you get word that Silver is fighting Infinite in Mystic Jungle. In the fight, Infinite drops a Phantom Ruby prototype. Sonic arrives to help Silver, you have a boss fight with Infinite, and Sonic gets his ass kicked again, and Infinite decides idiotically not to finish off Sonic because, quote, he isn't worth finishing off. Wait, what? During this time, Tails and Classic Sonic are spying on Eggman and Infinite. They learn that the Phantom Ruby prototypes are defective and only record the DNA of the one who triggered it. More on that later. Tails then hears for the first time over Eggman and Infinite's conversation that Sonic is still alive. You mean to tell me that not one person decides to contact Tails and let him know the good news, especially if this is what made him, quote, lose it? They have walkie-talkies, I don't see why they couldn't just do that. Ugh, whatever. Classic Sonic and Eggman duke it out, and Tails ends up learning that in 3 days, Eggman has a plan to wipe everyone out. Tails and Classic Sonic goes out to search for Sonic in Mystic Jungle. At this time, your OC finds the last Phantom Ruby prototype, and since it's a prototype, only your OC can activate that ruby. Tails and Classic Sonic runs into your OC, and they both reunite with the rest of the Resistance.
I'm worried. I thought you were...
You worry too much. Look, I'm perfectly fine. It's been generations since I seen you. You okay?
Tails then tells everyone about Eggman's plan, Sonic learns that the shadow from before was a fake virtual reality projection, and Knuckles with the rest of the Resistance attempts to take back Metropolis, which they ultimately fail. After the failed attempt to take back Metropolis, your OC has a boss fight with Infinite. Infinite then attempts to kill you, but becomes confused as the virtual reality projection doesn't affect you. I don't really understand why this confuses him, as you could clearly see the Phantom Ruby prototype roll out of his pocket, and for God's sake, he's just holding it in his hand. What are you, blind? Anyways, Tails finds out the Phantom Ruby requires an incredible amount of energy which only the Death Egg can provide. The team destroys the Death Egg, effectively stopping the Phantom Ruby's power. Sonic and friends go to target Eggman at the Central Tower in Metropolis. When Sonic confronts him, Eggman and Infinite still activate the Phantom Ruby to their surprise, sending Sonic and your custom character into null space, essentially a black hole. Tails questions how they were still able to activate the Phantom Ruby after taking out the Death Egg. Eggman reveals that he made a backup power source for the Phantom Ruby under Metropolis. Now this is the part where the story just pisses me off. After Sonic and your OC are sent into null space, you had to think, oh god, how are they going to get out? Are we going to have a level in null space to find a way back into the normal world? Nope. Guess what they have to do? They have to run in a straight line really, really fast. I'm not lying. No joke, here's my first reaction of this happening in my first LP. They're in nothingness right now. What
This
the
isn't where we were
hell?
meant to end up. Let's head back. Everyone's waiting for us.
I don't think it's that easy. Where the hell are we?
We got this. Keep it up, partner. Nothing can contain the two of us at max power. Not even null space. What's up, everyone? I missed this place.
What happened, Sonic? You two just up and disappeared.
What the hell just happened? They just ran and got out? Anyways, after that pointless scenario, Eggman and Infinite use the Phantom Ruby to make the sun burn everyone alive. What? I'm not joking. Suddenly and conveniently, Eurosi still has the Phantom Ruby prototype, which can somehow make the sun disappear? Look, if the writers didn't put much thought into it, neither should I. By the way, let me just go on record to say that the music for this stage doesn't make any sense for the scenario at hand.
The sun is falling in the sky beyond. Light is fading from our world.
The fuck? The light isn't fading from the world, the sun got closer. Anyways, your OC makes the sun disappear, and Sonic goes to confront Infinite for the final time while the Phantom Ruby still needs time to recharge. After defeating Infinite with the help from your OC, he just flies away. Wait, what? Sonic and your OC destroys the backup reactor that's giving the Phantom Ruby power, effectively making it useless. Or so they thought. Apparently, the reactor was just a decoy and the Phantom Ruby doesn't require an energy supply. So, let me get this straight. The Death Egg was the main power source for the Ruby, then he had a backup power source under Metropolis, and now you're telling me the power source under Metropolis was a decoy. Does that not sound stupid to anyone else? Eggman then incorporated the Phantom Ruby into this Death Egg robot to become the ultimate form. Long story short, Classic Sonic, Modern Sonic, and your avatar go head to head with Eggman, ending in the Doctor's defeat, hence putting an end to his reign of terror as the virtual reality enemies disappear. With the Phantom Ruby no more, Classic Sonic is transported back to his world, and Tails is acting a little too emotional over it. Why is he so sad? I know Classic Sonic is supposedly another dimension Sonic, but it's essentially just a younger version of the person standing right behind him. You don't have to be so weird about it.
Cheer up, Tails. I'm sure we'll run into him again.
Please don't. Sonic then tells the whole group that it's time for them to clean up what Eggman did to the world. But to be honest, I'm not sure how they're even going to start cleaning up places like Green Hill Zone. The place is literally a fucking desert now. In the end, the resistance is no more, and your OC is left saying goodbye, with Sonic saying the generic, "You and I aren't so different" line. Your OC runs towards the sunset, and that's the story. Ugh. Well, I'll give the game this. This game definitely has more of an emphasis on story than any other game since Colors, and I appreciate it for that. But the story itself is just so lacking, especially with all the inconsistencies. I will say though, I do like the characters' personalities, especially Sonic's. He's kind of back to being that smartass from the good old days, and I personally like it.
You may call me Infinite in the brief moments that remain to you.
Oh, great! See, Infinite? Now we're getting to know each other. So, what's your favorite color? Do you like long, romantic walks on the beach? What's the source of your power? You can skip the first two questions if you like.
But this compliment isn't for all the characters. More specifically, Tails. What the fuck happened here? Tails does nothing all game and sits on the sidelines and cowers in fear. Hello? Were the writers for this game not aware of Tails' story from Adventure 1 and Adventure 2, where it was all about him finding the courage in himself and not needing Sonic to do everything? What happened to that Tails? That's the Tails I want to see, not this sad excuse of a sidekick. Also, remember Chaos? Yeah, you never fight him. Why was he there? Why was he in the trailers for this game? He was the one villain I was looking forward to fighting again, but I guess the writers must have forgot. Oops. Same with Shadow. God, what the fuck? You know what? That's enough of the story. It's clear they didn't care that much about it, so why should we sit here trying to make sense of it? So without further ado, let's talk about the most important part of the game, the gameplay. Oh boy, where do we begin? First, let's start with the avatar, the main reason why most kids are going to buy this game in the first place. At first, I was worried that I was not going to like the custom avatar because I never made an OC when I was a kid, but the avatar is honestly the best part of this game. The amount of customization you could do with them is quite amazing, and later in the game you can start to unlock more items and you could really start to shape them into however you please. Here's my first avatar. His name is the Procrastinator. He's half cyborg, half wolf. My next avatar is Marshmallow. He's a blind psychopath that likes to burn people with his flamethrower. And finally, we have Munchie. He's a cannibal. However, playing as the Avatar feels kind of like modern Sonic without a boost, but you have this grappling hook, which is pretty much just a homing attack, but doesn't feel nearly as satisfying. As for the Avatar's levels, they're decently designed for the most part. The levels have some alternate pathways and areas designed specifically for whatever Wispon you have equipped. The Wispons themselves, however, are kind of hit or miss. My personal favorite Wispon by far is the Burst Wisp, mainly because you could kill many enemies with ease without having to break the pace of the game, and because it's a fucking flamethrower. The Lightning Wisp isn't so bad either, but the Cube Wisp is by far my least favorite. It just halts all momentum you have and brings the game to a crawl. As stated before, some areas in the level are specifically designed for whatever Wisp you have equipped. For example, the Burst Wisp lets you burst up into the air, and the Lightning Wisp lets you do the Lightspeed Dash. This can give the levels some value of replayability, but I feel like this could have been fleshed out way better in level design around these abilities. Speaking of level design, let's talk about Modern Sonic. What the actual fuck happened here? These are the most automatic stages I've ever played. Most of these stages are just holding the boost button and watching Sonic play the game for you. And get this, now in 3D sections, Sonic turns automatically. Let me say this again. Sonic turns automatically. Why stop there, Sonic Team? How about make it so he jumps and runs automatically for you too? Hell, why don't you just let me put down the controller and watch Sonic complete the whole game for you? I don't understand why they designed Sonic to turn automatically. Instead, they could have just kept his drift feature from Unleashed, Colors, and Generations. I see many areas in the game that looks like it was designed specifically for drifting, yet it's completely omitted. But hey, at least you still have his slide kick, which I never used. Modern Sonic's levels are filled to the brim with boost pads that keep you from straying off a set path, and sometimes if it's a boosting section when you don't really have control, it's still possible to fly off the screen and die. Really? And whenever something cool happens on screen, you're not playing the game, you're watching a movie. Most of these cool looking sequences require you to tap the action button like a QTE, but these are just a joke. Most of them don't even penalize you if you mess up. And to add the cherry on top of this mediocre sundae, his levels are incredibly short, usually about 1:30 long. Even when some of his levels are quite enjoyable and aren't fully automatic, the stage just ends before you're really able to get into it. It's super frustrating, and it's usually the good stages that end so quickly. At times, I'm having fun playing, but again, I can't help but feel like this game is playing itself. There are some levels where you control both Modern Sonic and the Avatar at the same time, kind of like Sonic Heroes. In theory, this sounds amazing. In execution, they're just okay. But like I said before, they're pretty short, and I feel like the level design doesn't take full advantage of both characters' abilities. Also, I have a question for you, Sonic Team. Why doesn't Modern Sonic just stick to 3D and leave Classic Sonic to the 2D bits? I feel like Modern Sonic having 2D sections is just kind of redundant. Oh yeah, Classic Sonic, remember him? This small clip right here should sum up Classic Sonic's overall gameplay experience in this game. Oh yeah, Classic Sonic. Oh, there he goes, get ready. He's like a flying bullet, he's moving. Here it comes. His gameplay is the worst part of this game. His control is atrocious. For some reason, his jump feels too floaty, but heavy at the same time. Like, how do you do that? He runs so slow and sluggish, it almost feels like you're controlling him in space, but the second you hit a wall, he drops like a rock. Wow, that's just amazing. You know what's fucked up? When the new Super Mario Odyssey has better rolling physics than the new Sonic the Hedgehog game. Classic Sonic still has his drop dash move from Sonic Mania, which is cool, but his stages already have so many dash panels because God forbid you actually get speed from momentum, there really is no reason to ever use it. Hey, Sonic Team, I know I shouldn't be the one to tell you this, but if you're going to try to recreate a classic Sonic experience, you need to have proper momentum-based platforming. That was such a crucial part of the classic games. How do you screw that up? From now on, until the end of time, leave Classic Sonic to the Mania team, because clearly you guys over there at Sonic Team don't know how to recreate what already got you guys on the map in the first place. It's just sad. Now would be a good time to bring up the double boost feature in this game. I'm sorry, but every time a double boost section would happen, I would just cringe. And guess what? If you don't mash the button to double boost, they boost anyways. Hell, you can just set down the controller during this whole scene. So my next question is, what is even the point? Look at this gameplay here. I can make a damn sandwich during this entire scene.
It doesn't matter what obstacles they put in our way. We'll blow past everything they throw at us. Double boost! Yeah, that's how it's done. We've got unstoppable speed and timing. We just have to keep this up. Bingo, found a way in.
You should be able to get into the factory through there. Stay alert.
This should be fun.
This isn't gameplay. Me tapping a button really fast doesn't make me feel satisfied in defeating a boss either. I'm not joking. Most of the bosses in this game end up dying from a double boost attack. You know what? Let's talk about the bosses real quick. The Zavok boss fight isn't that bad, and I appreciate it being a stationary boss fight like the old adventure days. As for the rest of them, they're kind of lame. The first infinite boss fight is pathetic. All you do is boost until you get close enough to homing attack him. That's it. And the infinite boss fight with your OC can be beat in under 50 seconds. And the final boss fight with infinite is the same as the Metal Sonic boss fight, just constantly boosting until you get close enough to homing attack. They even end the fight the same way with a double boost. Jesus Christ. Now the final boss with the Death Egg robot was decent. More specifically, the avatar portion of the fight was decent. As for Classic Sonic, his section was a joke. It's just bouncing these boulders back at the robot with no trouble. Now for the final boss with all three characters, guess what it is? It's the same boss fight that is used in Colors and Lost World. Seriously, Sonic Team, were you that proud of that boss that you made in Colors that you feel like it had to be redone 3 times? It's not that special of a fight. And guess what? It doesn't end with a double boost. Nope, it ends with a triple boost. It's completely different. And if you don't properly do the triple boost with the final boss, guess what? It just sits there waiting for you to attack it again. Okay, so you defeat the final boss. What else is there to do in this game? Well, there are several collectibles in this game. They come in the form of red rings from the past games. After you collect all the red rings in a stage, you can then collect these numbered thingies from Lost World. Then after you collect those, you can collect moon medals. Oops, sorry, wrong game. Same idea though. Now, that's certainly a lot of collectibles, but as of the recording of this review, they don't give you jack shit other than I think some avatar accessories and such. Though I heard Supersonic was going to be patched in soon, so yay? There are some side missions you can do via SOS missions, and some extra missions, kind of like Generations. Most of these can be beaten under a minute. They aren't nearly as enjoyable as the ones in Generations, and that's not saying much because the ones in Generations were already lacking. Now, when it comes to the game's presentation, it looks amazing. The colors are so vibrant and the graphics aren't too bad either. I mean, look at this view. That looks incredible. Though the cutscenes can look a little fuzzy. Speaking of cutscenes, why are there no CGI cutscenes in this game? I see the trailers for this game were all CGI, so what the hell? I'm sick of mainstream Sonic games not having CGI cutscenes. Other than Lost World, the last time we seen CGI cutscenes was in Colors. Come on Sega, give us more quality cutscenes like Unleashed did, okay? Look, I'm gonna be real with you guys. So far, you guys must think I absolutely hate this game because most of this review has been negative. But like I said, I had a lot of fun on my first playthrough, so that's gotta mean something, right? The game itself has many flaws, but it does have some fun, memorable moments. Not to mention the music. Some of these tracks are amazing, and I love the return of the cheesy rock from the Adventure Days and Infinite's main theme. And I like the Avatar stage's music with the lyrics. Though I will say that Classic Sonic has some of the worst music I've heard in some time. It just sounds like a Sega Genesis farting. There's no catchiness to it at all. And Modern Sonic has some decent tracks here and there though, so that's a plus. In the end, Sonic Forces ended up being just average. Again, it's not a bad game. But as someone who was trying to hype for this game since the very beginning, even hyping for the 25th anniversary game before we even knew what the game was going to be, it comes off as disappointing. In the end, you have to wonder, why did the game come out like this? Did Sega always have the intentions of making a $40 title? Don't get me wrong, I think the game was priced well, but I don't want a $40 experience. I want a $60 experience that is given to us with love, and sadly, I didn't get that feeling with this game. It's fair to say that most of my gripes with this game comes from the level design and gameplay choices, and after playing this game, I saw a picture floating around online. Then it hit me as to why this game came out the way it was. I want you guys to look at this picture from the credits. There were only 3 people that designed the levels for this game. 3. And to add fuel to the fire, after doing some research, it turns out that the 2 level designers never worked on a Sonic game before. Are you serious? And get this, the lead level designer only worked on Lost World. Lost World! Who made this decision? What idiot let newbies take control of one of the most important part of any Sonic game? Seriously, whoever made this decision, fire them. After I saw that picture, it infuriated me. Because the one reason I had faith in Sonic Forces before its release was because of this quote right here from the trailer. Now I got a question for you, Sega. What part of those teams worked on Sonic Forces? What was it? Was it that they had the same janitor? Is that what warranted putting this in the trailer for us to trust you? As far as I'm concerned, you lied to us. You lied to the only people that were ever loyal to you to get more sales. And until I hear otherwise, that is probably one of the most scummiest things I've ever seen any game company do. In the end, Sonic Forces is an average game. It's not bad, but it's not great either. And it definitely doesn't feel like 4 years of work. In my opinion, your money is better spent on Sonic Mania. It's half the price, and it's a game that was given to us with love. With love. Something that I feel like Sonic Team and Sega need to work on. To make it feel like they care. If you guys want to know why I think this, my review will be in the description for Sonic Mania. Go ahead and watch it. In the end, I'm left asking questions. What can we do differently? What is it about modern Sonic games that we could do so we don't have to get any mediocre titles to get something that is truly, truly breathtaking? Well, I'm going to save that for another video on what I think Sonic Team needs to do to get Sonic up and running again. Pun completely intended. And that's my review, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope Sega's listening. With all that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is Sam, signing out. See you later, Procrastinator. Sega in the 90s was known for its brand, but after that, we've lost trust, and we're left with nothing but reputation. We'd like to win back that trust and become a brand once again. Though there's a lot that he's saying, I have to see it first. I really can't say that I'm happy now that they admitted this. I gotta see it, but I don't know. I hope Sega really fixes the way they do what they do, and I hope this is, I take this as a promise. From what he's saying right now, I'm looking at it as a promise. Now I'm waiting to see it.